Hello, David.
Hi, Nina.
Hi, Travi.
Welcome, everybody, to the Equestrian Pedestrian.
Evolving Equestrians. Bitless and Beautiful.
Bitless and Beautiful.
Summerwood Stables, just to name a few. So, we had a lot of interest in our last video.
Which one?
Not maybe so much like in the viewership, but for those who have seen it already, boy, we talked about it for going on 5 straight days now, and people are still posting about it.
Wonderful.
On one of the Facebook pages where I posted it. It's been a very, very hearty debate. This is about the livestock issue.
Right.
This is about the livestock issue. And so we have another one that I'll be posting that will have already been posted by the time we get to this one today, about horses and their sentience, or sentience, whichever you
Depending
prefer.
on which country you're from.
Yeah, so the thing about that is for today's, the topic that I want to discuss today, we sort of, I guess, have to come to an understanding about how we feel about their sentience. And you and I both feel that they're very sentient. I mean, let's again define sentient, and you can also pronounce it sentience, if you'd like. What does it mean?
To feel, to sense.
To feel, to sense, to perceive, to be able to perceive your own feelings, and to understand about the environment around you and how it will be affecting you. Your perception and your feelings.
Okay.
And your feelings. So I really want to talk today about something called dominance-based training. What do you think when I say dominance-based training?
Kind of like all these videos kind of roll into each other as far as the connection, the interplay. So dominance-based training sounds like I'm the boss, you're the subject, what I say goes, and then it can extend to if you don't do what I want to do, then I have to be dominant and yell. That's my take.
Okay, that's what most people think. So let's leave it at that for a moment. Can you do dominance-based training without using gadgets or tools, or do you think that the use of certain gadgets and tools will make it dominance-based training?
I don't think the word dominance in dominance-based training would apply to the training that, I wouldn't even say training, the work that we're doing with our horse partners, with our horse friends.
So to do positive reinforcement type work, dominance-based training is not that.
Yeah, I would say that.
So here was the interesting thing. One of the people that was commenting kept insisting that they do not do dominance-based training, but then kept explaining how they use the whip and the spurs and a bit. And I just kind of tried to keep explaining to them.
It's frustrating.
But that's what that means, to do dominance-based training, is to use those things. You don't have to be a big, tough bully and come in and dominate. You can be the sweetest, most lovely and kindest person and most gentle person in the world. But if you have a spur on, you're carrying a whip, and your horse has a bit shoved in his mouth, you are practicing dominance-based training. I am sorry, but that is just what it is. Again, you can be the nicest person in the world, but you are engaging in something called dominance-based training simply by using those tools. The person kept saying, I'm not, I don't go in and bully my horse. I said, that's not what it's about. That's only part of it. And you don't even have to be a bully if you're using a whip, using spurs, and using
you don't have to
a bit. You're actually bullying without bullying. No matter how kind and lovely you are being about it, no matter how many cookies you're going to give at the end, you are using dominance-based training, and dominance-based training is the use of those types of tools in your training.
I think he's trying to let you know that he's really grateful that you don't do that.
We don't do that, right? We don't use that. We use a lot of other tools. We use a fanny pack full of treats. And I think that food reward is the universal language of delight.
We don't use bits and whips on dogs. We just use treats to train dogs. As far
Some
as I know.
people use a choke chain. Some people use an electrified collar.
Okay.
Would that be dominance-based training?
Yeah.
You're darn tootin'. That would be dominance-based training. You could be the most lovely person in the world, and your dog could be in a choke chain, and you might not know any better. And you might hear, oh, well, you're doing dominance-based training, and that might horrify you, which is, I think, what happened with this person in the thread, that they were horrified to realize, I do? And that's why we needed to make this video today, because people don't understand the terms. There's so many terms. And then we get into all these letters like R positive and R negative and this and that, and people get very, very confused with what they're doing.
Dominance-based training a really common, popular? It's the first time I heard about it.
Dominance-based training is the very, I would say, the most widely accepted and used form of training horses.
Is it called that everywhere? Or
No,
is it just
nobody calls it that.
Okay.
It's just called horse training.
That's what it is.
And in horse training, it's perfectly acceptable to use bits, whips, spurs, chains around the nose, a nose band that closes the mouth called a flash nose band, draw reins, side reins, tie downs, martingales, all devised to set the head in a certain headset or to remind the horse to stay in a certain headset. All of these things get classified under the tools that one would be using if they are practicing dominance-based training.
That is disturbing.
So I am sorry to be the first one to let you know what you are doing, but unless you are using a reward system and only a reward system, you're not using positive reinforcement. And if you're using nothing at all, some people pride themselves on using no reward and no punishment. I personally, I would love to hear from one of those people. What is the communication like? What?
Yeah, how do you do? You can't do both. No reward, no punishment.
Yeah. How long does it take you? What does it work for every kind of a horse? I mean, I can't even imagine.
That's not logical. It doesn't add up for me.
To me, it doesn't add up either. I often think that maybe there's a little bit of a hole in that story.
Well,
to hear
it's either punishment or
to hear that there's no food reward going on, and even no I rub my horse's withers when he does a good job, and that's sustainable for that horse. Really? You don't have those days where he's not interested in being with you because he doesn't want to have his withers scratched?
I think we should make a video on if there's two types of horse people. There's the ones who want to spend the time with the horse and develop a relationship organically versus the people who either don't have the time or have an ego.
Oh, you bet we'll get there, David.
Because in a lot of these videos, I feel like we keep bumping up against that.
We definitely are. You're right. We keep bumping up against some very fundamental and systemic issues.
Exactly. That's a good way to say it.
Yeah, and we'll talk about those. And I think one of the most challenging aspects for an equestrian is what you just said, time. And they often have the money and they don't have the time. And when you have the money and you don't have the time, that's often when you allow someone else to do a job for you that you probably should be doing on your own, which is building your relationship with your own horse. And that's when little trouble begins, Little things start to go awry at that point when you don't have time.
I'm lucky I have a lot of time, so for me, I don't mind giving the horse time to run around in the arena before I start to work with them, or all of the things. Or
letting it have a little bit of hay before you get started. The belly is a little bit full, so they're not. You're not thinking about dinner because you've had a little bit of hay in your belly.
If I had a job to do and I had a bunch of horses I had to move around, I'm sorry. I get why these people do what they do.
I get why they do it too. But I feel like they have to maybe partially reprioritize.
True.
That I feel like if you can't try to do it this way as best as you can, why? Where is that extra time going? Like, I know for me, I have certain time sucks. You know, I spend a lot of time defending ethical situations on the internet. I spend a lot of time on Facebook. I spend a lot of time on YouTube.
We're grateful for that.
Trying to, you know, to deliver the message.
I have another question.
But I don't take it out on him.
Right.
I don't rush.
I was busy on Facebook.
Yeah. I'm like, you know what? I don't get to work with you today. And you get to just hang out. You can be loose. You can walk around. You can eat at the haystack for as long as you like. That's on me.
Right.
I prioritized that I needed to have one more debate today. So I'm not taking that out on you.
Right. Instead of justifying and saying, sorry, buddy.
And some days I'm bummed. Some days it's a beautiful day. I'm like,
should have prioritized
did it
better.
really matter? I should have just come out here so we could do something today.
My question is, in Europe, I feel like in Europe they're more traditional and more slow. Like whether it's the food supply chain, everything's better in Europe. That's how I see it. Are they less profit driven and less American westernized as far as their treatment of animals in general?
Believe possibly at one time, but no. I think we're all,
now it's all the same.
About the same human. Wherever we are now, we're all about the same human.
Or even like in Japan, how they're like really into patience and respect.
Yeah, I think that we're all sort of
industrialized.
I think we're all sort of in the same I think we all have the same issues. We all have the same challenges.
Okay.
I think wherever we are. That's what I see though from the internet, from people in all different corners of the world.
Well, that makes this all the more interesting and important, the work that we're doing. I don't want to do the work that we're doing because I'm just here.
Doing the work. You're sitting here having these discussions. You're working with the horses at absolute true liberty. You're doing the work. You are not only talking this talk, but you are trying to walk the walk. And that is what I ended my note that I ended on with this person on the thread. I said, I feel your heart. I feel that you have the right intentions. You're saying the right words, that you're not getting out there and being bossy. You're not demanding. But what you're not understanding is your spurs are doing the demanding for you. The whip is doing the demanding for you. The bit is doing the demanding for you. Maybe you're the loveliest, kindest person in the world.
You don't have to say anything.
But yes, but those tools are saying it all. So with that in mind, I guess we have to wrap up. I think we're at our time
we're at
frame.
12 minutes. So
so what I said to them was, like my finishing line was, you are definitely talking the talk. I hear your words. You want to be there. You're probably going to get there, but you are not walking the walk right now. So I understand that you don't feel like you want to say that you do dominance-based training. It sounds kind of ugly. It sounds negative.
It is.
And I could see why someone would say, no, I don't do that. Well, yeah, it sounds like something you wouldn't want to do, but if you are using whips, bits, spurs, chains, crops, side reins, draw reins, martingales, if you're using any of that stuff, I'm here to tell you, and I hate to break it to you, and I don't want to pop your balloon and burst your bubble, but those things, my friends, put you in the category of someone who practices dominance-based training.
My last thing I'll say is, it's not like anybody says, oh, I want to sign up for dominance-based training. Where can I learn dominance-based training? But over the years you realize, oh, this is the category, this is the umbrella it falls under. What can I change? So yeah, I'm glad to be learning all this.
You're so right, David. And there's so many places that people are signing up for lessons online and going to different seminars and clinics. And no, I don't think any of us go, yeah, that's what I'm on board for, But you have to come out of the denial, and you have to get real with yourself, and you have to realize, what am I paying to learn here? I'm paying to learn how to wield a whip. I'm being paid how to learn to jab with my spurs gently so nobody notices and the horse doesn't get a scar. I'm being paid to learn how to use this bit in the way that I can manipulate the horse the best way. I think that if you really want to take lessons and you want to engage with horses, find someone who's going to teach you how to communicate with the horse and
way
help
more
you
valuable.
Build a relationship built on compassion and invite you into a space where you can be compassionate with the horse.
More valuable and more rewarding. You're actually getting way more out of it than just the lesson, just the technique, just the trot, just the halt.
And if the only way that you can get those things is by using those tools, again, fundamental problem in the training to begin with. So
I have more to say, but
we will take it up in another video. And we thank you guys for giving us your ear. And we hope you will give us your typey fingers and
we want
talk
the
to
like and
us.
subscribe. But if you can only do one of the three, comment on the video, please.
Yeah, we want to. We are really trying to measure where everybody is in.
Tell us how you feel.
Yeah, where everybody is on the spectrum of compassion and ethics with the horses. Okay, thank you, and thanks,
Thank you.
Travi.